Hello there. Stuff NZ, I think we need to have a little bit of a talk about one of your reporters. You see, while you guys did some amazing work around disinformation, misinformation campaigns, producers, and spreaders, particularly around the last local body election, and since then with things like Fire and Fury, one of your reporters does seem kind of bent on making sure that the Voices for Freedom in particular, their message is platformed, which is really concerning. Here, let me show you. Yesterday, you ran this story about the Southland District Council's concerns about the replacement of the Resource Management Act. As you can see here, written by one Evan Harding. And this story finished with this quote from Jaspreet Boparai, who is a very well-known provider of information and material for the Voices for Freedom group. She's consistently on their podcasts, recordings, stuff like that, and she was very specific about trying to make the country ungovernable. Now, a couple of quick things. First of all, this sounds like it's really reasonable, but the replacement for the Resource Management Act, where they're sitting going, we've got no control, literally sets down in the guidelines that each regional council gets to pick and choose what it is that this act is going to do for them and how it will be interpreted within their region. It's not that complicated, and it gives the power to the councils like they requested. But that doesn't say that at all. Now, if we cast our mind back a little bit, you might recall when Nurses for Freedom claimed that there were 700 nurses waiting to go back and help people, but because they're unvaccinated, they're not allowed. And it turned out that there was only 10 nurses at the most that were possibly eligible for that. And at the same time, it had not been fact-checked, and the story had to be taken down, and you had to issue an apology. Same writer. Or this story that came out last year in the local body elections because this person was running as a candidate on the grounds that she was vaccine injured. Her vaccine injury is that it hurt her feelings that she got told to take a vaccination to be a teacher. Look at the writer again. He also wrote a story, which has since been removed, about the effectiveness of vaccines being considered as part of the reason to continue mandates in place for medical and teaching professions. Can you see a theme going on here? NZ Stuff, you guys have done some really solid work around trying to out the people who are spreading misinformation and disinformation and putting people in harm's way for their own selfish needs, or, to quote them, make the country ungovernable. And you've got a reporter in your midst who seems hell-bent on platforming them and making them seem reasonable. Might be something that you want to look into.